Good morning, Tempo and Raptor freaks. Lexi out here. It's Thursday, and the Tempo lost a disappointing game to the Valkyries yesterday. You know, going into the game yesterday blind, not knowing to what to expect, whether we would be able to play well against the Valkyries or not, I was all curious about seeing all of that. I felt like from the first quarter, which was a very low scoring first quarter. In fact, I was very happy because it looked like the Tempo were going to hold Golden State to under 10 points in the first quarter for a little while there, which is absolutely phenomenal. They really played really good defense at the beginning of the game and won the first quarter. I was like, the Valkyries are overhyped. The Valkyries are not as good as everybody says they are. That somehow this 5-game win streak is fishy. Is fishy. And Golden State, the market, the Warriors, the Valkyries, there's something fishy going on with them. I'm going to say that right now because in some ways they didn't hide this shit well enough last night. Angelica suffering. No, you didn't hide this well enough. I get it. Refereeing's a hard job to do. It's very hard. It's not easy. But sometimes if you're not good at doing what you're doing to cover up that you're being biased towards another team, you can blatantly see what you're doing. And I could see exactly what y'all were doing last night. It's not enough that the Tempo are missing 2 out of their 3 top stars right now. It's not enough that we lost our starting center after the first quarter last night. Yeah, the injuries are getting really annoying. Really fucking annoying. And you add in, ref hit job on fouls on key players like Conde, Yusketa, and Harrison. Foul trouble early too. Wow, they were throwing everything at us to try and stop us from beating Golden State. And even with all that adversity, we would have beat their ass if the refs hadn't messed with us or Niara had gone out. I'm not impressed with the Valkyries. I'm getting a first look at all these WNBA teams this season as a Tempo fan and somebody who didn't really watch the WNBA that much before in recent years. And I'm not impressed with y'all, Valkyries. I'm going to say it right now. Y'all are being helped. Y'all are like the Celtics last year in the league or the Knicks in the NBA. You're being helped. Every single 50-50 call. Every single touch foul on us. Julie Alamon at the end of the shot clock with her arms up like this. It's a foul. No, that girl lost the ball out of her hands, but you saw her bobble the ball. So you said, no, it's obviously a foul. Julie did not touch her. She went like this. And that little nudge, you're going to call that, but you're not going to call the mugging of Marina Mabry all game? No, we can see right through it. Angelica suffering. The league mandated, you got to make sure the Valkyries win by Kathy Engelbert. I'll bet you that shit was actually in the bulletin points for them because they shaped the game from the start. In fact, at the beginning, they couldn't do it right because the game was so anemic offensively. There was a low-scoring first quarter, and the Valkyries sucked, honestly. They looked bad. I mean, we were playing very, very good defense. Trust me. We were playing locked-in defense, and it's a wonder when the Tempo have a regular-sized lineup, when people are healthy enough that we can have the proper people at the right positions, we can actually show a good defense like we did in the first quarter last night. But oh my gosh, the hand holding the referees did for the Golden State last night to help them get the outcome that they got. Seriously. And then, they finally busted open the fourth quarter and got away from us. But that's after foul trouble, Niara out, and extremely frustrating calls the whole game, where Marina's just teetering on a crash out. Not only her, Isabel, Julie, Maria, they're all teetering on a crash out because they're all dealing with bullshit calls. They're all dealing with absolutely one-sided referee whistle last night in our home court. I mean, it's going to be only worse when we go to Golden State. We're going to play them 3 times this season. We got our only home game against them, and the referees were acting like it was a home game for the Valkyries with a home whistle for them. We're going to go to Golden State and play them 2 times in August, and I'll bet you the whistle will be even worse there because they'll actually give them home favor on their home court, but not Toronto for their home court. No, they couldn't do that last night because what would it look like? They put so much invested into making the Valkyries such a wonderful story, getting a playoff game team in the first year, first ever time. Woo, let's build this legend. How dare they have a sophomore slump? No, we have to prop them up still, Kathy Engelbert. We got to prop them up. I'll bet you Atlanta Dream fans would be agreeing with me right now after the 3 losses to Golden State. And I'll bet you some of this funny stuff happened with them too. I don't even need to watch the games to understand the referees were probably sliding Angel Reese and her team in the 3 games they played against Golden State. They probably messed them up and ran them straight to L's without any choice, just like they did to us last night. Look, we had our chances. The fourth quarter, sure, if we could have limited turnovers, but we didn't even play that well, and we could have kicked their ass if the refs didn't get in the way. It pisses me off. I'd like to see a fairly ref game where the best team can win, but that didn't happen in Coca-Cola Coliseum last night. Marcy Williams, I'm ashamed of you. Josh Reed, what the fuck? And Angelica Suffren, it was you that led this in that way. Really, really crazy rationale for some of the decisions. Sandy coming to you, asking you, what is this? Like, what is this? So I saw a moment where Marina Mabry was saying, yeah, that Valkyrie player traveled. They traveled. And Angelica Suffren hates Marina Mabry. I can tell because she looked at her and she gave her like this look, like she was pissed at her. And she said, nah, we're ops. We're ops. I could tell. She's ops with Mabry, Suffren. It's just ugly and it's so blatant. And if you're not good at covering it up like Scott Foster, I will detect it. Because you're not good at covering it up. Every single 50-50 call went against us and went for Golden State. And some of it was comical how bad the call one-sidedness was. And then every single touch foul, breathe on them, every single little thing called on us, and they were mugging us. In fact, Marina, after the game, said, there's a difference between physicality and straight up fouling. This is the interviewer asked her, what did you think of the physicality of the Valkyries? There's a difference between physicality and straight up fouling. And she said, I don't want to get a fine, so I'm not saying anything else. Yeah, not impressed. Not impressed with the Valkyries. Not impressed with the refs. Y'all are lucky you got that fucking win last night because honestly, we're not even full strength. And y'all needed the refs to hold your hand to get there. So, no, I'm not impressed with y'all like I was impressed with the Dallas Wings. Not impressed with y'all like I was impressed with the Atlanta Dream. I'm not impressed with y'all, Golden State Valkyries. I can see the mirage that the WNBA has built into you and your team to prop you up and make you look better than you are. So go ahead, enjoy your 6-game win streak. It's hollow because you have 6 team members on the court, actually 8 team members on the court with the referees wearing Valkyries jerseys underneath their referee uniforms. Yeah, I could point out probably about 5 or 6 different calls that they got wrong that were absolutely biased against the tempo and absolutely were influencing the game. Look, the tempo could try and try and try. It's deflating over and over again. The calls are going against us over and over again. That is meant to psychologically do that to them. Just give up. Why do you keep trying? We have a storyline we have to keep here. The Golden State is better than Toronto in the WNBA. We have to make sure we beat y'all no matter what. I'm sorry. The refs have decided this with the league, and it just has to be that way. Why are y'all keep trying? Man, y'all going to make this look ugly. Y'all keep trying. Y'all, oh my gosh, you're winning at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Well, we really have to make sure that you can't have any chance to get on a run in the fourth quarter. So we'll stymie you. We'll call crazy ass whistles. We'll take things away. We'll call travels on you, but we won't call travels on them. Yeah, all that bullshit. That's how they did it. I'm serious. I have no respect for the Valkyries. I really don't. I don't. If there's a Valkyries fan coming in here, y'all's record is enhanced because the league is helping y'all. I'm going to say it right now. And I know I saw it in the game last night. Y'all don't even want to give us a fighting chance. Our leading scorer is out. Our top rookie from UCLA is out. Our only center on our team is out after the first quarter. Y'all don't want to even give us a chance. Seriously, what happened to the fairness in sports? What happened to the refs being a neutral party that do not influence the outcome of the game instead of steering the game like it's a steering wheel and it's a car and they're driving it to a destination? Because that's what that was last night. I could see it clear as day. So many calls that could have been either way, and we didn't see any coming towards our favor. They were all going for Golden State. And the touch fouls on Julie and Maria and other people, and then the muggings on poor Marina Mabry with the way y'all were handling her and grabbing her and just trying to stop her and stymie her. It's messed up. In some ways, I was hoping the WNBA was better than the NBA on this department and these issues. But nah, I seen evidence yesterday that they do have certain things they want to do. And they want to make sure Golden State's a better team than Toronto, because that's not the storyline they want. They want the Golden State Valkyries to seem like some sort of wonder expansion team. And how dare a younger expansion team possibly come and beat them? What I saw in the first quarter is that we match up really well with them. And honestly, we should kick their ass normally without any hindrance, without any interference, because we actually match up really well with them. Part of it is that Stokes is not an offensive center. And in some ways, they're not doting on her to come and beat us up in the middle. And they get most of their offense from the outside. And they're a slow down team. That's another thing that's weird to me. They're a slow down team. In some ways, that's a weakness to play so slow. We want to play so slow. That's a weakness. Honestly, you can speed things up. That's in the tempo's name. We can speed things up and we can run you off the court and mess you up. Honestly, we're a really good matchup for them to beat their ass. And well, that's what I discovered last night. But hand holding with Angelica suffering, holding their hands to the end to make sure they win. Yeah, how are we going to beat that? This team is an expansion team, and they look like an expansion team at times last night. We're still having trouble getting people to score just to make up the points to compete, let alone the referees are holding us down with bullshit calls in different places. We can't even get three people to score in double digits. Why you got to do this, Angelica? Is this totally necessary to hold us down like this? To stop us? That's part of the reason why we can't score. That's part of the reason why these people ain't scoring. It's messed up. We actually match up really well with them because our defensive powers are good for where their offensive powers are, and we can actually stop them. Yeah, it's annoying, man. It's annoying. This game kind of actually really turned me off from the WNBA a bit because I was hoping I had been really feeling good this whole season of like, wow, this is a lot more on the up and up. But last night proved something different to me. Seriously did. And I'm not going to blame the refs completely for the loss, but they definitely held the hand and they gatekeeped and they definitely held us back. And they definitely did key calls at opportune moments where we were starting to make a run or we were starting to get good things to happen. Julie with an amazing shot at the end of the first quarter off a steal. Well, they didn't want to give that to us, but they had to because it was very clearly before the buzzer. But they didn't want to. They would go review it. They're being stingy. They won't review certain things for us, but they'll review certain things on this. Yeah, it was a very, very bogus game that was very, very bad with the one-sidedness with the referees. You feel proud of yourself? You need the refs to hold your hand to get to the W? Oh, they enhanced it. I mean, we don't want the storyline that the Tempo beat the Valkyries and ended their winning streak. It's not good look. It's not what we want to see on ESPN's WNBA page. Tempo and Valkyries win streak. No, we don't want that. We can't have that. Make sure it doesn't happen, Angelica. Make sure it doesn't happen, suffering. Some ways I'm gonna do this game a little angry, like the reaction. I'm gonna be doing this a little angry. Let's get in the comments, see what y'all have to say about this stuff. See if you saw some of the same things I saw. Daniel Barry's in first this morning. He said, "What's good, people? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you, Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights. I appreciate your enthusiasm and your messages." Trevor J is in Las Vegas. So he's on that West time. So this is a little earlier for him this morning because he's in Vegas, just like the Raptors. We saw footage of the Raptors' first practice at the Wynn Casino Ballroom. That has been the tradition the last few years that the Raptors rent this ballroom out as their practice ballroom, and they do their practice for their team in that room. And they're already there. I've seen Alan Graves, Jalen Bradley, Chucky Hepburn, Nate Biddle, and the crew are already there putting up shots. Calling Murray-Boyles. Yeah, they're there already. And they're getting ready for their game tomorrow. Summer League game tomorrow. And yeah, we're going to be playing the Celtics tomorrow in the Summer League. And I'll have the preview for that tomorrow, along with the preview for the Tempo game, along with some CBL stuff also. It's a busy day tomorrow for basketball. There'll be 3 games that I want to watch. Scarborough, Raptors at Summer League, and Tempo in Montreal playing the Wings. Yeah. But yeah, Trevor's in Vegas, so he's not up right now yet. That's why he's not here this morning. James is here. Good morning, Raptor Freak James. Lex, Jonas Valanciunas got waived yesterday. Is there any chance we get him as a backup big? Now, all right. We talked a lot about DeMar. We talked about Kyle. We've talked about different former Raptors coming back. This one makes sense. This one makes sense. If Valanciunas is willing to take hardly any money, that's the thing there that doesn't make it totally realistic. I would love for him to come back and be our backup center. Absolutely. Absolutely makes sense. This move actually makes a huge amount of sense because this is the position we need. This guy played with Jakob for a little while. When Jakob was a rookie, they were centers together, so they're familiar. Of course, Jonas was traded just with Jakob the year of our championship and missed out on the trip with Kawhi. He played half the year with us on our championship season, and they got traded for Marc Gasol in February. So maybe there is some redemption for Jonas to want to come back here and help the Raptors get their second championship ring, that he can collect one himself. I always thought that Jonas deserved a championship ring for a half season of playing for us because he technically played as our starting center, even though he was hurt a big chunk of that year on our championship year. Other teams are always giving rings to guys who played during the season, even if they didn't finish the year on the team. So I always thought, yeah, give a ring to Jonas Valanciunas, CJ Miles, and DeLon Wright. Why not? Why not? More Raptors championship rings out in the world is a good thing, right? I don't know. You know, it's not being in the U.S. Maybe Jonas's wife would be happier. In some ways, she has a lot of time here in Toronto, a lot of friends, a lot of memories. I don't know. It seemed like Jonas was really hell-bent on getting back to Europe and playing in Lithuania and playing in EuroLeague and getting back to that continent. It really is the money. If he will take that little chunk of money, or do we do some shuffling around, a little bit of housekeeping just to make room for a backup center the caliber of Jonas Valanciunas? Some would argue also that he's not enough of a different look from Jakob. You know, I mean, Jonas does shoot threes. He's gotten better with that as he's gone through his career. I don't know. I mean, I'm totally thumbs up on it. If Bobby can finagle it and it happens, I am absolutely ecstatic. It makes more sense to me than DeMar. So if it happens, I'll be very happy. Let's just put it that way. But it really does kind of have contingency on Jonas and what he's willing to take for money. If he does this, he's going to get paid peanuts, but he's going for the chance to possibly win an NBA championship. That's really the incentive here. So I don't know. I'm all about it, James. This is one that I don't have to think twice. We need a center depth. We need a big guy. And well, that's exactly what Valanciunas is. And his history with the Raptors. I mean, they talked about bookends. starting your career and ending your career. DeMar saying something about that in a quote, and everybody's gone crazy with that. Well, maybe Valanciunas would be a one-day contract guy like Lowry and DeRozan, or maybe he could get another year with us real quick this season. We'll have to pay attention and see. It may not be possible though, but I'm definitely a thumbs up on the idea. Yeah, definitely. Mr. Greg is in the house. The streak is alive. Let's see what Mr. Greg's saying. I was there again last night, and on a couple of fouls, the ball hit the Golden State player in the face, and Alamon and Conde were called for elbows. Yeah, there was a lot of bad calls. Some of it was like just getting the play wrong. Some of it was just blatant favoritism. So Greg's seen it in person at the game last night. He says down here he agrees with my assessment of the refereeing last night. Yeah, I mean, I saw it on TV. Greg saw it in the arena. Yeah, I'm telling you, like I've been watching NBA games in this style for years now, where I really watch the refs. A lot of people don't watch the game with the refs in mind. They're just watching the game. They're watching the players. But I am watching the refs. I watch who calls fouls on when and where and how many times, so I can tell which refs are paying respect to people like RJ Barrett or Scotty Barnes and putting them on the line. I pay attention to this shit. I also pay attention to when calls are suspicious or a little bit like, yeah, that's not, why did you call that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There was one point where Izzy got pushed or something. They passed the ball to her. It was like they weren't connecting really well at first. Like Maria was a little off from everybody. Maria was really sped up at the beginning of the game. And there was one play where they did a cut for her in the lane, and Maria was supposed to throw the ball to her. But Maria went so fast through the lane, she was already past the lane when Maria threw it to her, and she wasn't there. There's a lot of disconnection in the beginning of the game with Conde. Conde was not connecting with her teammates in the starting lineup. And I'm really going to harp on this until I see some difference, whether it's Conde playing better or the team starting better, because I don't think she should be starting. And I know why Sandy's doing this is because she's trying to jumpstart Conde's offense and get her to be more of a producer to help us with our scoring. But I think this is backfiring. I think that the look with Yusketa in the starting lineup is better because, first of all, Yusketa has the best plus minus out of all the tempo players on the team this year. The stats that Matt Cullen was dropping during the game make total sense. Maybe she's goofy and maybe she does mess up with weird turnovers and stuff like that, but she has an overall positive effect of hustling and winning for the team as a presence on the court. And I feel like that's better to have in the starting lineup. You want to have Conde come off the bench as a sixth woman who's going to provide scoring, but she's not scoring in the starting lineup. This is classic Gary Trent Jr. Start or bench Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr., everybody argued, should be a starter because he can't score enough off the bench. He's not doing it. And then we start him, and he wouldn't do jack shit in the starting lineup. And then we put him on the bench, and he'd do better on the bench. I think this is kind of what's going on with Conde a little bit right now. It's like, look, she is not working out offensively in the starting lineup right now. She's a dead note. And in fact, her connecting with her teammates is really off right now. Like she was in the middle of our first 3 or 4 turnovers at the beginning of the game. Yusketa gets turnovers too. Isabel Harrison got a pass from her that was a little too quick and abrupt, and Isabel stumbled backwards for a second. They called a travel on Harrison. That was annoying. That's the thing. They got to match up, as crazy as it sounds, their tempos. They got to match up their tempos. Some people are going really fast in a moment and some people are not. And it's not lining up, and passes are getting not caught and turnovers are happening. They got to match that up. Yeah, there's a lot to this game. There's some good stuff, though, and we'll talk about it in a sec. UC's here. Raptor Freak UC, good morning. The Valkyries barely winning despite all the injuries is a great sign that the tempo players are willing to fight through tough situations. A culture is definitely being built over there. Yeah, I worry about some of the culture because of their junk food fetish. Yeah, we're seeing off the court the women eating a lot of junk food in their off time and being all into it. We got Marina Mabry drinking Cokes on the sideline. She's out. She's drinking a Coke and sharing it with somebody on the bench. She's going to get popcorn from Rivers in the game that she sat out against the Mercury. We got Isabel and Niara and all kinds of people eating snacks and stuff on their TikToks and eating junk food all the time. I'm wondering about this. Listen, come on now. Come on now. Can we be more disciplined with what we eat? I know y'all want to have fun and go off your diet and stuff like that, but man, it seems y'all are like you're buck wiling crazy with your unhealthy snacks. In some ways, it's like they're snack queens and they're doing the snacking, and they got all kinds of different stuff going on with chips and donuts and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, y'all chill out. Seriously, y'all are professional athletes. Don't be like Scotty Barnes after rookie season, eating all that junk food on Twitch. Come on now. Your body is your temple. What you feed it, what you become. And we don't want y'all to become crap because you're eating crap. I don't know. Hey, let them have fun. Let them do whatever. In some ways, take it as seriously as it's their life, Lex. But I worry about that junk food culture behind the scenes with the tempo right now. Do they have nutritionists for the tempo like they do for the Raptors? Because these women on the tempo might need some guidance. Seriously. I mean, it's one thing to do little TikTok videos where you're trying Canadian candy bars and chips, Izzy. But there's another thing to go get the bags more and more in the time after and like pig out and eat the whole damn thing. Just try a little chip. Just try a little bit. That's good. Here, do you want to eat the rest of these? I'm just saying, you want to be at the top level to compete against the other teams. Well, this is something I worry about with them a little bit. But you're right. You see, we're this close. We were this close. And really, we had so much against us yesterday that, yeah, that bodes well. That bodes well for us. You're right. On the court. Yeah. Smooth's here. Good morning, Smooth. There's chatter online that the Clippers are trying to reroute Brandon Ingram to another team. That's why the trade hasn't been announced yet. That's something I've heard, but either way, they can't do it that way. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Let's do critical thinking here. The Clippers are trying to trade a player that they haven't officially gotten in a trade. That don't make no fucking sense. This statement in here is like messed up in itself, right? No, I've heard that this is held up for two reasons. The NBA is processing all the trades, and it's going to take a little while. In some ways, who cares when it happens? If it happened today or next week, who cares? We just care if it happens, right? We just care. Why is that Kyle's press conference? It's going to happen. He's going to be on the Raptors. I mean, I don't care what other things the Clippers want to do. I've heard that they're holding this up because of Patrick Watson, because they want to get that Denver player to the Clippers, and that's the last little piece that's holding it up. They can't trade Brandon without getting him in the first place. They have to finalize the deal with us, and then they can flip Brandon somewhere else. But yeah, whatever this, when I heard this little blurb, and somebody tried to say it to me yesterday, but it wasn't clear, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? This comment doesn't make sense. You can't trade somebody if you haven't already acquired them yet." And they had not acquired officially Brandon Ingram. So how the fuck are you going to move him already? That doesn't make any sense. They have to get him first. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to do some sort of weird thing where they're making it into a 3-team trade after the fact so that they can do it. Maybe there's some clause that Brandon can't be traded twice or something like that, or traded like that or something. Either way, I don't care what the Clippers are trying to do. I care about the Raptors just landing Leonard and us going about our business. Whatever they're trying to do with Ingram, whatever they're trying to do to get Patrick Watson, good luck, Steve Ballmer. I hope your aspirations come true. I mean, to me, there's a logic that's not making sense there, Reggie. What's holding up the trade is they're trying to reroute him. Well, don't they have to acquire him before they can even reroute him? I mean, 2 + 1 = 4. I mean, I don't get this. Let's use some logic here. Let's see. UC saying this also. I wonder if Golden State got help last season so they could be in the playoffs in their first season. That's what I'm saying. Who knows? I'm going to guess this. Yeah. There's, all right, let's talk about them particularly. They have like a billionaire owner, and there's like all kinds of like, the NBA has doted on that market so much in the last 20 years. You think about the Warriors dynasty. You think about how they never broke up Steph, Clay, and Draymond for like a decade. They protected them. The NBA has a vested interest in helping the Golden State market for some reason. And I guess it extends to their WNBA team also. You know, there's a weirdness with that. It's almost like, did the owner, who's so rich, pay the WNBA league to say, hey, I want wins against teams I don't want to lose to. I'm paying you. We're going to pay you. All right, we'll get Angelica Suffren to make sure y'all win in Toronto. Is it that simple, Kathy Engelbert and Adam Silver? That owner is such a weirdo, or he's such a competitive person, but he wants to make sure he wins, that he's paying y'all off so that you'll help them? Like, seriously, that's what it felt like last night. The favor was weird, man. Very, very weird. And in some ways, maybe Golden State fans still have some anger towards the Raptors in Toronto for closing down Oracle and ending their dynasty at that time, even though they circled back and got some sort of weird championship a couple years later. No, there's something weird going on here with the relationship between Golden State market and the NBA, Adam Silver, and the WNBA. There's something weird here. Something's not adding up. Something's not adding up. That's right. Yeah, let's see. Smooth saying this. They don't really want him on their team, it seems. They don't really want Brandon. Well, listen, let's just watch. Let's not totally speculate. Let's just see when the news comes out. These rumors and this chatter, this Jake Fisher kind of bullshit. We're not doing this. When news comes out substantively, then we'll talk about it. Now, there's weird news in the WNBA yesterday that the U.S. government is getting involved in the WNBA on kind of a racist dog whistle. They're investigating the foul by Alyssa Thomas on Caitlin Clark and whether there is a problem in the WNBA with people abusing the poor little white girl. The white supremacists in the American government are making this a big deal, and they are investigating the WNBA. Their Congress is having a hearing, just like it's the steroids trial for MLB, just like it's the issues with wrestling and steroids. And they want to investigate whether there's a problem with racial targeting of Caitlin Clark for being a white girl in the WNBA. I can't believe this. You know, Clark has been very honest and open about her views on this, and she does not like all these people gathering around in her support of her with pitchforks and torches. She's like, no, don't do this. I don't need you to. I'm a competitor. I'm tough. This is just part of the game. And I have nothing against these people that are doing this. It's like, y'all are the ones who are acting like, oh my gosh, my little girl, I need to protect her from the big, awful, mean black players in the league that are hurting the poor little white girl. And now we got the racists in the White House and Congress coming around. And, you know, in some ways, this is just a dog and pony show for their constituencies. The show, yeah, we are going to come and do this. It's very, very like coded in some weird ass fucking old racist shit. Listen, this is a tough league. If you're going to investigate this for Caitlin Clark, you better fucking investigate the last night for Marina Mabrey too. Why don't you investigate these leagues for sports gambling and the connection between Jonte Porter and Malik Beasley, or maybe the connection between Scott Foster and Tim Donaghy? Why don't you investigate that kind of shit, Congress? Instead, you're going to take a racist dog whistle, and you're going to put this on blast, and you're going to intimidate the WNBA, and you're also going to try and hurt the brand of the WNBA by a side product with this bullshit, because you put it in mainstream headlines. You make it a big deal. Congressional hearing on the WNBA and whether there are racial attacks against Caitlin Clark. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anything to cater to crazy ass Christian white nationalists, Bible Belt thumpers in the middle of America. Anything for that. Oh my gosh. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. All right. This fan circled back. You better be on your best behavior, because this channel is not for you. And I don't give a shit about having subscribers. So I'm going to tell you that right now, Pharaoh. That's right. We'll see. All right, let's see. UC saying this brand new team doing that in their first season is wild to me. NBA or WNBA. The thing about it is that once again, I'll say what I said yesterday. We were supposed to come in with them. In some ways, everything would have been divided in half as far as the expansion draft and a lot of other things. They would have had not had such an easy kind of route into the league if we had been next to them like we were with Portland Fire. In some ways, the fact that we had to come in an expansion year with another expansion team the same year is unlike all these other expansion teams that are going to happen in the next couple of years. They're all coming in by themselves 1 year at a time. Think about it. They're going to get an expansion draft every year where they don't have to share the expansion draft with another team like Golden State did last year. We had to pick every opposite one with Portland Fire. And that was a detriment to both Portland and us. But when the Cleveland Rockers come back, when the Philadelphia team comes in, when the Detroit Shock comes back, they're not going to have to pick against anybody because they're staggering them out, every one of them one per year. Ideally, they would have done that with us. In some ways, Portland was ready to come in and we were ready to come in. But it should have been, we should have came in with the Valkyries, and that would have been us with them having to choose together, and that would have diluted their team last year. And quite possibly they would have missed the playoffs. So that's it right there. That's it right there. Pharaoh's hearing this. The Valkyries didn't win the game because of the officials. They won because they played better. I will say y'all played slightly better, but the referees holded your hand and allowed you to get there. You might not have won if the refs hadn't helped you. Let's just put it that way. You mentioned the Dream. They beat the Dream without the refs as well. You know what? I didn't watch those games, but I'm speculating that y'all are getting a lot of help. Seriously, y'all are getting a lot of help. I'll say that. Seymour saying that because I'm not impressed with your team. Your team's not that good, Pharaoh. I've watched all these teams so far, and I'll tell you right now, the Valkyries are overrated. Y'all are a hollow-ass team. And you know what? If we have our full complement of players, we beat your ass. We have Sykes and Rice. Y'all get wiped off the floor yesterday. Seriously. I don't respect your team. I'm just going to say that right now. Your team is not that good. Okay? I'm going to say that right now. I've seen a lot of teams. I'm way more impressed with Dallas Wings. I know the Lynx are good because I've seen the Lynx enough. I very much have immense respect for Becky Hammond's team. We're talking about Western teams. Those are the teams I respect. I don't respect your team because I've seen them. We match up well with them. Even with our injuries, we could kick your ass, honestly. You're lucky the refs gave you favorable calls. Seriously, because they were playing traffic cop, red light, green light on the Tempo's runs. The Tempo's starting to get something going good. The refs make a shitty call against them and deflate their run. That's really the biggest ref manipulation in basketball is a team starting to get energy going, stuff good going, then make a really bad offensive call on Tiani Key. Offensive foul, Tiani Key. Well, that changes all the momentum in the fourth quarter. And the Valkyries get to start going, and then boom, they break the game open. It's a 10-point lead again in the fourth quarter, and the refs are happy because finally the team that they were script written to help win is going to have control and close the game out to win. And the team that had been given foul trouble very early on purpose, we had foul trouble on all our bigs, and then our biggest big got hurt and couldn't even return to the game. Yeah, y'all are lucky. You're not that good. You should have blown us out in these settings if you're so fucking good, Pharaoh. You should have blown us out. It shouldn't even been close if you're so badass. I don't respect y'all. I'm going to say that right now. Seymour's saying this. Rumor mill. Kuminga sign and trade with Hawks goes to Lakers for Vanderbilt and first round 32 pick. I don't care about this. These are little deals that don't matter to me. We'll look at the rosters at the end of it. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. And Seymour saying salute to Eye Candy. Good to see the champion, the Raptor Freak Trivia champion for this year, Fiercely Salsera. Got her name on that trophy this week. That's awesome. Mick, Z40, thank you for a subscription. Welcome to the Raptor Freak Tempo Freak channel. Golden State's a big market. They get so much help. I think this is the most valuable team in the WNBA. That's true. The valuation of the Valkyries is crazy for some reason. I don't even get that. How does that even happen? I would think an original team like the Liberty in New York would be worth more than them. I would think a multiple champion team with Wilson on it would be more valuable than them. Like, this seems inflated and weird. This seems like some sort of crypto scam. Why are the Valkyries so this and that? We have just as big a market as they do. We have a whole fucking country. And we got like 5 million people in our market. Well, I don't know how many people are in San Francisco, Oakland, but I don't think it's 5 million people. People always say, "Oh, the Raptors are a small market. The Tempo are a small market." That's bullshit. We got this whole entire country, coast to coast, is our market. So whenever people say things like, and I'm not saying you said this, Mick. Whenever people say, "Oh, the Raptors are a small market team," I laugh at them. I laugh at them. Yeah, Mick, great first comment. And I think you're right. I think that there's some investment in them to be good, that they have to hold it up. And well, they didn't do a good job last night, Angelica. You did not do a good job. You really didn't. And I could see the frustration on Coach Brondello's face from the unfair bullshit that was going on last night. Fiercely saying this: Izzy is definitely a keeper, solid presence, and impactful. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the good stuff. Stars of the game. I'll do my 3 stars of the game for the Tempo in the game last night. Isabel Harrison is the number 1 star. Isabel had her career high in points last night. And this is great because in the morning yesterday, I put it to her. I said, Izzy, come out there and kick some ass and do something. And she did. She did. She did her part. She went above and beyond, and she looked badass doing it. I loved her aggression. I loved her moves. I love how much she was playing with force, and she was really getting after it and competing. Really, really good job. Harrison, 24 points. It's her career high in her WNBA history. 31 minutes, 10 of 17 from the field. Love that. 1 of 2 from 3. That 3 that she hit was really nice timing. 3 for 3 at the free throw line. Perfect there. 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, and a minus 13. The 4 turnovers are probably the worst thing there. But man, 24 points and 8 rebounds. Yeah, she's carrying. Now, we needed that along with 30 points from Marina. But alas, they were allowed to mug the hell out of Marina Mabry and not let her get going. And that's the smart thing for the other teams to do, is they know that Marina is the engine of our team. Stop the engine, and it'll stop our team from getting the best ultimate offensive production. And they did that to an extent. But Harrison, number 1 star for sure. Career night. And hopefully she builds from this. I'd like to see this more consistently. It'd be fantastic for her to get 15 to 25 points regularly in games, especially with Sykes and Rice out. My second star of the game for last night is Julie Alamone. Julie Alamone, 36 minutes, 9 points on 4 of 7 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals, a minus 12. She's playing point guard. It's much better to have her in the lineup than not, as we can see, compared to the Dallas Wings game to this. That's the thing. What is Sandy supposed to do with the key components missing every single time we play? It is absolutely true that the Toronto Tempo have the most games missed by injury out of all the WNBA teams this year. We have had the most players missed. And not only that, we're running on a roster with not the full roster filled out. We have a developmental spot open. We could have another player on our team to help us with this stuff. But for some reason, we're being cheap. And some reason we don't have that spot filled, even though we could really use it. They didn't dress Ornella for the game last night because they didn't want to use one of her development spots, but they didn't know Sabally was going to have to leave. And we could have used Bencole to come into the game, even though she was in street clothes, and she couldn't because she was not designated to play. So, yeah, it was a tough game. Tough game. Julie, I wish you'd gotten a few more points. 9's pretty good. You're almost there to double digits. And your playmaking was very good. And we appreciate that. And you're a competitor. We love the last second shot at the end of quarters. But yeah, it is what it is. I wish I was doing stars that all had double digits, but it was close there. My third star of the game and final star of the game is once again Kia Nurse. Kia Nurse is, when we're floundering and we're just not finding enough people to do stuff for our team, Kia's coming in and doing stuff. She only played 15 minutes and she got 8 points. 2 of 3 from the field. They were all 3-point shots. So she made 2 out of 3 of her 3-point attempts, and she made both her free throws. So very, very only 3 shots and 2 free throws, 8 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, a minus 11. Nah, I got to keep giving Kia props because she's really not supposed to be doing huge things for our team. And well, she's trying and she's doing what she can. She's doing what she can. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Tiani Key, who, because of all the foul trouble for various people and also Niara leaving the game, she had to get out there and play some extra minutes. And in some ways, Sandy's bringing her along slowly and doesn't totally trust her in a few ways. You know, whether it's a game where she comes out and she gets like 3 fouls in the first minute she's out there and she has to come right out. You know, there's a couple of different things she's trying to teach the young Wildcat to be a better WNBA player. And well, she got thrown in the fire and had to play extra minutes. There's mixed results. You know, that offensive foul on her in the fourth quarter was key because it kind of turned the momentum around and hurt us to get the Valkyries going to bust the game open for the last part of the game. So yeah, Tiani Key, 11 minutes, 5 points on 2 of 3 shooting. She missed the only 3 she took. She made her only free throw. 1 rebound, 1 turnover, a -1. I would love to see you rebound more. In fact, I know you're a very good offensive scorer, Tiani, but if you really want to get a lot of time on the court, just start swallowing up rebounds left and right everywhere like Angel Reese. And guess what? Sandy's going to make more time for you in the rotation. That's the key right there. Key. The key for Key is to swallow up those rebounds and just start getting them. In some ways, we would say get some more muscle on you and get a little stronger so you can battle in there a little tougher. You know what I'm saying? All right, we'll talk about Marina. Marina was limited to 11 points in 34 minutes. Valkyrie's just fouling her, grabbing her, doing all kinds of stuff, and there's no respect. The refs aren't calling jack shit. They're allowed to do this shit. It's like crimes that are going on in the street, and the cops standing right there watching them pick the pocket and steal the wallet, and they don't do jack shit. Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I don't care. They're running down the street with the ball now, and they just hit Marina Mabry, and yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not respect there. She did get the line to a fair amount of times, but 2 of 9 overall from the field with 11 points. She missed all 3 of her 3-point attempts. This may be one of the only games this season where she didn't hit a 3. 7 of 8 from free throw, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 turnovers, and a steal. Marina had some amazing passes up the court to her teammates to get good transition baskets. One of them was a little bit too much and got picked off, but the first couple were amazing, really well passed and got easy transition baskets. And I like her looking up the court for her teammates. That's very Raptor-esque. The Darko system has this. Rebound and get the ball up the court as fast as you can. And well, that one pass to Izzy when she was driving through the lane with the smaller defender on her, well, that was very successful. It's a little risky. The third pass she threw up court did not make it, but the first one was perfect. The second one got to Izzy, and she made it happen. But yeah, the passing skills of Marina Mabry are underrated, and she's really good at it. Really, really good at it. That's the main thing I saw about the game that I liked about Marina. The other stuff, she just got held up, and that's not good defense by the Valkyries. That is just blatant fouling that is not getting called. That's what that was. Yeah, Conde is frustrating, man. Conde is frustrating. 35 minutes and only 9 points. Maria, you come and advertise as this great scorer from EuroLeague, but your speeds are getting weird. Like you went way too fast. I could tell. Maybe the scouting report was Sandy came into the room and says the Valkyries like to play slow, and we'd like to up the tempo and go run it on them. And Maria heard that shit, and she just went into hyperspeed because at the beginning of the game, she'd run around like so fast that she was screwing up because she was going too fast. And man, she's got to figure this out because in some ways she is really hurting us. She's really hurting us in the starting lineup right now. And like I said, I'm a big advocate for Lau to start because I feel like she has a winning impact, even if she's not the best offensive scoring option compared to Conde. And in some ways, we need scoring off the bench, Sandy. And Conde coming in for Yescada gives you a little bit of more balance with the offense coming off the bench because we ain't getting enough points off the bench. We ain't getting enough points in general. Let's just put it that way. The production for our team is really bad right now. Really, really bad as far as overall team. Yeah, but Conde 9 points in 35 minutes, 3 of 8, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, a -5. It's just not good enough. You came advertised. You were the golden girl coming into the season from Sandy. Sandy just glowingly talked about you so many different ways. And right now, the prowess of you from Europe is not translating to North America. And that's the weird thing. Maybe it's just a work in progress and she's going to bust through and at some point she'll be really good in the ways that we need her to be. But right now, she out of all the Euros is struggling the most to play the WNBA style. It sucks. I hate it because it's like I can see where she could be really good. I can see where she does stuff really well, versatile in all kinds of different ways. But right now, she's really having trouble fitting into the WNBA game. She's more used to the FIBA game overseas. Yeah, Niara only got 7 minutes in this game, and it's no joke that we had our best defense when she was available out there. That first quarter, we played such good defense on them. They couldn't do jack shit. They were barely even able to get shots off. We were playing them so well, and I was proud of that. I was like, wow, the Tempo's defense is so good, and Niara Sabally is the big reason why. But mysteriously, she got hurt and I had to leave again. And this is something that like people are saying now on social media that they're sick of our centers being so fragile. Yeah, whether it's Tammy out 2 games now just because she took a ball to the face in practice, that doesn't seem like a reason for Tammy to be out. Does she have a black eye and it looks weird? Is her eye swollen? Is she not able to see out of her eye? What's going on here? Because seriously, most people will play with a black eye. It's not something that will stop somebody from playing. I worry about some of these players coming to Toronto on the expansion team and just kind of being here for the luster and being in it, but they don't. They're taking Ben Simmons sit outs. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh well, I'm gonna sit out. This can get like prevalent around your team. You have a couple people that kind of sit out for hoity-toity shit. Then other people are sitting out more often and saying, "Well, I'm missing this game too, Sandy. I'm sorry." We can't do this, ladies. We have a skeleton crew. We don't have enough players on this team already for people to just take out themselves out of the game just because, oh, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. I don't know how hurt Niara was. In some ways, it's sad. It sucks. It's her knee, I think, is what they said. It was her knee that got hurt. But Tammy, you got a black eye from a ball in the face at practice. You should fucking be out there playing. I don't give a shit. I mean, seriously, somebody say, oh, no, don't do this, Lex. You were questioning whether Julie should not play or not against Dallas. I'm just saying there's different levels of commitment to get out there on the court with nagging injuries or little injuries. And I'm wondering about this shit with particular tempo players right now, because in some ways they're too easy to get out of the game. And it doesn't help that our two bigs are the two most injury prone people on our team this year. And that sucks. That sucks. Niara, 7 minutes, 2 points. Made her only shot, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, a +4. Yeah, while she was out there, we're winning. And well, you couple her leaving the game for injury, not returning, and then you got free fouls on this person, Isabel, 3 fouls on Yescada, 3 fouls on Conde. Yeah, what are we supposed to do? Referees are holding us back too, saddling us. See, that's the thing. I see the ref manipulation and holding a bunch of fouls on our bigs. And then later on, making very timely calls at turning points in the game where runs and things could happen, but stopping them with really fucked up calls. All it takes is an offensive foul on the Tempo when they have the ball and they're trying to make a run to come back. And that switches the momentum completely off and gives the Valkyries the momentum. And then they get on a run and go because they don't get in their way to start running themselves. They get in our way when we start running. It's messed up. It's messed up, I tell you. Off the bench, Laura Yescada, 18 minutes, 5 points, 1 of 2 from the field. They were both 3-point attempts, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 3 steals. She's getting scrappy. She was a +7. Once again, the highest plus-minus on the team is Yescada. And once again, I'm going to say it. Why are we only playing her 18 minutes and we're playing these other women 30? And she could be doing way more in winning ways out on the court. It's not always about scoring, it's about hustle, getting after loose balls, being gritty, and just doing stuff in certain ways. And that's what I say. Yuskata needs to play more. Like, what is going on here? And then Tima. The stuff with Tima, the fans are turning on her. In some ways, they're questioning Monica Wright Rogers for bringing her in, trading Lexi Held or letting go of Lexi Held to get Tima Puyi. And Tima Puyi ain't doing shit. In some ways, we're finding out that the European transition to the WNBA is not easy at all. In some ways, it's a very different kind of style game. And right now, Puyi is not translating. There's not been any kind of big, huge explosion or anything. In some ways, this is the reason why Vashenkov had to lead the NBA, because he wasn't hot shit in North America like he was in Greece. Yeah. Vashenkov was like, 1 year on Sacramento Kings. This is not, I don't like this. I'm going home. Can you void my contract or pay me still? I want to go home, go back to Greece. Okay. Yeah, I'm an MVP there. Here, I'm fucking at the end of the bench and nobody. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is this shit happening with Tima? Because a lot of people are not impressed with her, and they're questioning our GM's decision making on when we see Lexi Held go to the Phoenix Mercury, and she's a good rotation piece for them on their team. And meanwhile, we got a struggling French point guard, backup point guard, who can't fucking put the ball in the basket, who's just out there running cardio. Honestly, Tima, you're running cardio right now. Get up off your ass and show us your skills offensively. Seriously, go do something. We've seen the little girls on the other side, Burton and Chen, going around, hitting their threes and doing all this stuff. Where the fuck is your offensive game, Timothy? Seriously, does this warrant this move to bring you over here? That Monica Wright Rogers brought you here, and you're just come here and waste our time from France? Seriously, what the fuck are you doing with your life, Tima? Wake the fuck up and do something. Go grab the brass ring. Go for it. These opportunities are fleeting. And if you don't do something, you may find yourself, your WNBA career is really short and brief. You may be the Tempo's Vincenzo Esposito. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, you might be the Tempo's Vincenzo Esposito. Yeah, go look him up. You'll find out what I'm talking about. Tim was saying she got 13 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 1 assist, and that's it. This is garbage. It's a cardio. In some ways, I'm not impressed with our Euro contingency except for Yuskata and Alamon. They're fine. The two of them are great. But the other ones we've been getting, I thought that Fazula was great earlier, but they got rid of her. Milic was fine, but they got rid of her. But then they bring in Tima, and I'm like, yeah, what is this? What is this? Trevor had this big thing talking big about Tima. Tima's so great. She's so good. You're going to see, Lex. I'm still waiting, Trevor, to see Tima do what you're telling me she's going to do, because I don't see it yet. But yeah, that's the box score for the Tempo. My stars, Isabel Harrison, Julie Alamon, and Kia Nurse, with an honorable mention to Tiani Key for doing what she has to do. Yeah. On the other side, should I even give them props? I'll give props to the French woman that went off for them. Yes. 26 points for Saloon in 23 minutes off the bench. 7 of 10 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3. Who the fuck was guarding her? Who's supposed to be on her? Y'all are too busy guarding Gabby Williams that you forgot about the other French girl over there? Y'all should know these players, European players, Maria Conde and the rest of y'all, because you played against them over there too, right? You should know about Stallone, right? 6 rebounds, also 1 assist, 3 turnovers, and a steal, plus 11. She was absolutely the powerful weapon that separated things and got hot, and they should have stopped her shooting. You know, the rest of the team, I mean, I'll go over Chen too. Chen was cool. Chen, the backup point guard, she was very efficient and effective. And as the announcers were saying, Tamika Nurse, that she's the speedy part of a slowed down team. And yeah, she had a good game, 8 of 12 from the field with 3 assists. Caitlin Chen. Yeah, just giving a little notes there. Yeah, good to see Gabby Williams out there too. I'm a fan of Gabby Williams. She's a good player. Looking at the team stats, we shot better than them, but they got 4 more field goal attempts than us. They made 11 threes. We only made 6. They really, really stopped us from getting Marina going. Marina didn't make a single three, so she could have added some there. The free throws, well, they got 7 more attempts at the free throw line. They only beat us by 8. So yeah, the refs were hand holding. They got 25 free throw attempts. We got 18. 7 more free throw attempts. This is the same amount of fouls, 20 fouls for both teams, but a lot of the fouls are side outs, and they're not giving us the chance for free throws like they are them. Yeah, that's one of the ref manipulation ways is like, we'll call foul, but it's on the floor. You side out. You don't get to go to the line. But hey, we're going to call it where this is a shooting foul. And this team does get to shoot free throws for it. That's one of the down low ref manipulation moves right there. And they were doing that last night to us. Oh, yeah. Rebounds. They beat us 31-23. Niara leaving. That didn't help. That didn't help, including 11 offensive rebounds. In fact, that reared its ugly head again a little bit in this game. We did better on stopping the boards for them from the game against Shepherd and the Wings on Sunday. We did better at stopping them getting on the boards. But later in the game, they started to get in there a little bit more. And maybe that was fatigue. Maybe that was foul trouble. The personnel we had out there. You notice when the Tempo played 3-guard lineups, it was a fail. It was a fail. We tried to do it in the second quarter, and it was a disaster. And she couldn't do it anymore. We tried to run a 3-guard lineup with Tima, Julie, and Marina out there, and it was a fail. The defense was horrible, and they had a big quarter that quarter, 30 points. So she had to revert back to, I got to play 3 forwards and 2 guards. She learned that, but we don't have the proper roster with the balance of the team. There's way too many guards on our team and not enough bigs. And we can't have enough depth. We get in foul trouble. We have a player leave like Niara. We don't have the balance to run the right way that way. One of our bigs is a rookie from Kentucky that Sandy doesn't trust. So it's like, Monica, what are you doing with your job? Seriously, I know this is early on, but what are you doing with your job? What is this team y'all constructed? If it's fully healthy, it'll work ideally. Okay, but what do you do when you have adversity? What do you do when you have foul trouble? What do you do when you have players that are out that you didn't plan on that happening? How do you patch it up? How do you give Brondello a team that's competitive enough to compete in the WNBA when these kind of things happen? You got to factor all this in. That's why your team needs to make sense through and through. Now, I get it. This is the first draft. This is the first year, and you got to pick straight from the bottom of the barrel, the expansion draft, and what was available. And you will build and get better pieces over time, better quality pieces, bigger pieces. I get that. But you could be a little bit of more ingenuity in what you could possibly do right now to help be creative, figure something out. In some ways, I feel like you're watching, you're spectating too much. You're kind of like a player on the court that's watching too much and running cardio instead of actively participating and doing things in the game to help the team win. I feel like you're just sitting like a bump on the log watching this team and all the disaster with the games missed and the foul trouble and stuff, and you're not reacting or you're not looking at it in a way where, I need to do this. Maybe that's part of the plan. Who cares? Maybe in some ways you're Isaiah Thomas and Sandy Brondello's Brendan Malone in the first year of the Raptors. Maybe you're like, I don't care if we lose and we don't have a good enough team this year. I'm stealth tanking. Yeah, it's kind of like the Raptors in Tampa, and they got Scotty Barnes, right? Well, okay, so we're going to lose on purpose for the rest of the year because you don't give a shit about making the team good enough to compete? Is that what it is, Monica? Because you want to get a high draft pick next year? Are you on the down low a stealth tanker? It's like, if I short staff our team for bigs, we're going to definitely lose. And well, we'll get a high draft pick next year. I hate this kind of strategy. If this is really what y'all are doing, fuck it. Don't be like Isaiah Thomas in the first year of the Raptors. Be like Brendan Malone and try and win. Because seriously, winning breeds winning. And, kind of stunting your team just to kind of lose, just to get a high draft pick, that sucks. If this is what you're doing, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out, trying to sort it through. In some ways, it don't make sense. This is the first game this season that the Tempo had more turnovers than assists. 19 assists, 20 turnovers. That's horrible. That's the wrong direction. We're supposed to be trying to double up our assists to turnover ratio. And now y'all finally got a game where you had more turnovers than assists, 19-20. Ugh, horrible. Horrible. They're definitely got to work on this. And over the years, hopefully our team will become better with the ball. That'll help immensely with winning games. That'll help immensely not having all these dumb turnovers. Some of it is familiarity and breeding more chemistry and gelling. It needs to happen still over years. That's how it works in basketball. You need years of gelling. And that a lot of these teams we play do have years of gelling with their key players. So, yeah, fast break points. We didn't get out running but 9 points, and they did successfully stop us, but it wasn't the Valkyries. It was the refs stopping us. So, yeah, that's the box score for the game last night. 8-point win for the Valkyries and the refs. 8-5. That's right. 8-5. Let's see. Fiercely saying hi to Seymour. And Fiercely saying, yeah, the Reddit and TikTok videos show lots of junk food. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this. I mean, in some ways, who cares? Maybe this is just, we're not serious yet. It's just we're a first-year expansion team. That the GM's not serious. The players are not serious. It's okay. We'll get more serious as time goes on. The Raptors are very serious. They handle things very seriously to be at the highest level, to be able to compete in the NBA. And well, the Tempo got to learn some lessons about being more serious to compete, because in some ways we're not totally serious with the Tempo. That's right. Smooth saying this. They're trying to include a third team, Lex. Let's see. Make it a three-way trade. Well, whatever, Clippers. You guys aren't really in a position to dictate this too much. Adam Silver is telling you what you have to do, so just fucking do it. If you want to do a trade afterwards or something like that, go ahead. If there's a clause in Brandon's contract says you can't be flipped, and that's why you have to do it as a three-team trade, whatever it is. Once again, Reggie, I don't care the deals in the process. I'm not going to speculate every day on where the Kawhi deal is. I'm just going to report it when it's done. I really don't want to do half news anymore. I don't want to do rumors. I don't want to do speculation. I'd rather just get the news when it comes out. Like I'll do something right now. Let's do the Tempo or the Raptors. Here we go. This is the Raptors Redder of the day, and it's going to be Ankoi, and he's basically reporting what Michael Grange reported yesterday. And this is news. This is something we can react to because it's happening. And well, we got to give props to our guy Giannis Sky, our Greek fan. He was right. He had said this a couple of months ago, actually, in the offseason, maybe a month or so ago. He was asking if Mike Batiste is coming back to Greece, and he is. He is. You were right, Giannis Sky. It's official as of yesterday that Mike Batiste, former Raptors assistant, has taken a lead assistant job with his old club, Panathinaikos, in the EuroLeague. And James Wade is not returning to the Raptors on the bench either. James Wade was a hire by Masai. He came with the Sky when we played the WNBA game against the Lynx to get our team here in Toronto. And Masai was so impressed in James Wade, he hired him to become a coach. He was not a friend of Darko's. He had never worked with Darko before coming to the team and being on the team the last 3 years. So all along, James Wade was not a Darko guy. He was a Masai guy. Well, Masai's gone, and James stayed another year after Masai was gone. But this summer, he is moving on. And I'm not sure what James Wade is going off to do now. Coco Wade, former GM of the Chicago Sky and head coach. But we do have replacements coming in for those two spots with Mike Batiste going back to Greece and James Wade leaving the team. And well, here they are. We're going to talk about them real quick. This is according to Grange, Michael Grange of Sportsnet. And Ankoi, you are the Raptors Redder of the day for posting it. Raptors notes from Las Vegas. Look for longtime NBA assistant Steven Silas to join Darko Rajakovic's staff shortly. Steven Silas has worked for Don Nelson, Rick Carlisle, and his father, Paul Silas, in his 25-year career. Former head coach with the Rockets, recently coached Team USA in the World Cup qualifying. So, yeah, he just coached the Team USA team this weekend with Orlando Robinson that got 1-point victories just barely, And also, I would say that because Noah is going to be coaching 905, he's been elevated from a secondary coach, a film coach, or a practice coach to a full assistant in the place of Wade or Batiste. So 2 in, 2 out. Batiste and Wade out on the coaching staff, and Silas and Noah in on the staff now. So yeah, Steven Silas, there's some things that people are saying about him that aren't nice or not right or not true. The failure in Houston that happened there is the player's fault. It's the front office's fault. It's not his fault. It looked real ugly. And a lot of people blame him for the worst record in Rockets history or whatever, or that bullshit that happened that year. But I'm going to tell you right now, he was set up to fail. He was working for a team where the owner was cheaping out and didn't want to spend any money, and they had the bottom of the barrel salary, the lowest they could actually spend. And what happened, remember, is Fred jumped into a windfall of a payment because they had to up their spending all of a sudden, and Fred VanVleet got $45 million a year after that. Well, that team was knuckleheaded. In some ways, I know Steven Silas's father, Paul Silas, is one of the greatest personalities and gentlemen in the history of the NBA. He's absolutely a class act. He passed away a few years ago, but he was absolutely a class act, the former Charlotte Hornets coach and former player in the NBA. Very, very good person. Very, very good coach. And his son learned from his dad, and he has the same kind of values as his dad. He wouldn't be in the NBA and be around the NBA like this if he wasn't like his father, Paul. The thing that happened in the Rockets with Jayshawn Tate, Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Christian Wood, and all those knuckleheads down there is that the team mutinied on him. Those kids were immature. They were doing crazy shit like humping each other in the locker room and acting all wild out like Jungle Boys or some shit. Those kids that are on the internet. That's who I'm talking about. And they were absolutely idiots, absolute immature, unprofessional idiots. And they openly mocked and disrespected their coach in the middle of NBA games in various ways. Some fans could look at that and say, wow, the coach sucks, that he lost the locker room. No, that's an impossible situation with a juvenile crew. And some of those guys aren't in the league anymore, partly because they're like that. Jalen Green's only in the league still because he's supremely talented. Kevin Porter has just been barely in the league in different ways. He's still very powerful, but in some ways, he's not as good in the league as he should be if he wasn't a knucklehead. Christian Wood, yeah, we all know what a piece of dead wood he is. So don't blame Steven Silas for what happened in Houston. Blame the cheap-ass owner and the immature core that he had to deal with. Anybody could have been coaching that team, and they would have treated him just as bad. So I welcome Steven Silas to the fold with the Raptors. I would tell Raptors fans that, he wouldn't be coming here if Darko didn't want him and he didn't think highly of him and didn't think that he could add 25 years of NBA experience around coaching. There's something there. He's worked under the great Don Nelson. He's worked with Rick Carlisle, one of the coaches that I respect the most in this league. So it's a great hire. He's going to bring in this experience, and we'll have to see what his role is on the team and the ways he's going to do it. So, yeah, Batiste, Wade out, and Noah and Steven are in. That's the Redditor of the day. Nkoi. Yeah, interesting stuff there. That's right. It's interesting stuff. All right, let's see. Seymour saying this. I've been cooking a lot. All right. I've been cooking a lot more since I fiercely yucked my buffalo chicken poutine from Harvey's. But hey, thank you for making the pick the healthiest choice. It's all, everybody's got their own choices for what they eat. But it's true. That saying, you are what you eat, really does become true because you think about it. The food goes in your body, you break it down, and the molecular structure of the food becomes you because it regenerates into your tissue and your organs and making you back, like whether it's hair, fingernails, your skin replenishing itself. That is where you get the material for it, is what you eat. So if you eat crap, if you eat garbage, you're literally becoming garbage yourself. You can kind of tell who eats clean and who doesn't in society because you can look at their skin. and their skin could tell you a lot of telltale signs. You know, you can look at all kinds of different things, like as far as whether somebody's taking care of themselves correctly with what they ingest. So, I mean, it's a dumb saying, you are what you eat, but it's true. You really are, because your body turns whatever you ate into you. You know, that's right. You want to be a Harvey's poutine? You're a Harvey's poutine. That's right. You go ahead. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph Phillips. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks fam. Your weakness is not what defines you, your strengths do. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Love. There you go. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we're all going to have weaknesses and strengths. And once again, I'm going to piggyback the thing that Randolph's talking about with my human design lesson for today. Because in human design, when you look at your chart, you can literally see your strengths and weaknesses, and it will tell you exactly what they are. You could have a hidden strength that you didn't even realize by analyzing your human design chart. And if you lean into it, all of a sudden you could change your life miraculously. I have the gate of charisma, which links my sacral, which is the energy in your stomach and your guts that powers your whole body, straight to my voice. This is part of the reason why I can do Lexathons and talk on this show so free form and creatively, improvisationally, because I have an engine that literally is hooked up to my voice that keeps it running and I don't get tired. Not everybody has that gate of charisma and the ability to speak and make sense like this, talking like this. In fact, I saw a video clip of this guy who has this gate in New York, and he's a rapper, he's a cipher, but he's so good. He does what I do on this channel, improvising on the street. He sees people around him on the street. I forget what his name is, but he's amazing. He's in the moment doing spitting rhymes, and he's like seeing people on the street, and he's just such free flowing that his charisma channel is just running, and he's able to cipher while he's doing it at the same time. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's good. And he didn't even stop. He did like a 15-minute run just walking around in downtown New York. He saw Tracy Morgan at some point and started spitting rhymes at him him and sitting in a car in traffic. I was like, I forget what his name is, but man, he was impressive. Either way, let me do the lesson for today. We are in gate 53, the gate of beginnings. And let me do a little more background on this real quick. This gate is an impetus for change, not an awareness. It is felt as a compulsion to begin something, even if we haven't planned properly or even thought fully about it. Where it may lead, how we may enter into things is so crucial in how they develop from that moment. Making decisions that were not correct for them causes most of the difficulties human beings have. So right now, you know, you may feel impulses to make new beginnings or new changes, and you have to suss out whether they will be correct decisions for you. And in human design, you do it by your authority. You have different authorities. Like I have an emotional authority, which means that when I make a decision, I have to work through emotions first before I actually make a rational decision. Some people have a sacral authority, like Adriana, and she can make impulse decisions in the moment because she intuitively knows what the right decision is right at that instant. But if when you find out your strategic authority, it makes it easier for you to figure out how you should make your decision making and to make better outcomes for down the road. So today is line 3, and line 3 is a controversial line in some ways. It's the line where you experiment and try stuff, but you may fail or succeed. And well, it's practicality is the theme for today. The unconscious provoking of conflict that logically threatens security and development energy, which provokes conflict and threatens development. You have to think practically about your decisions and make sure that they're for you and that they're good for your future. And the exaltation is in the most natural position, the concentration of avoiding conflict to ensure protection and continued development, the pressure to eliminate conflict in order to develop. So it sounds like avoiding conflict so that you can work on what you want to work on without getting interfered with. So yeah, beginnings. It's all about beginnings and the energy of beginnings right now this week. And this week it's about it's about making the decision practical for what you can do in your life. There's my little bit with human design today. We're in gate 53, line 3 for today. Yeah. Randolph saying this, Lex, NBA analyst is saying LA and the Raptors are trying to make it into a multi-team trade where the Raptors can get more involved and stay below the apron. Well, that's good. I mean, this is something I like you're talking about what Reggie was talking about earlier. Yeah, maybe there is a little bit more finagling around the edges with the third team, and maybe there's some sort of something we could do in that'll help with the apron, or even we get another player somehow, some way in there. I just don't want to see any players we care about getting involved in the trade that weren't already named in the trade. So, I mean, we'll just have to see. I trust Bobby. If there's some sort of opportunity that's coming into more developing time right now, as we go through this and the Clippers want to do this and this, well, we'll just have to see what is possible and see what happens. That's right. Seymour saying, crushed out a cool 50 swishes. There you go. Seymour's taking shots as he's hanging out with us today. We got another new subscriber here today. This is awesome. This is the girl and her gong. Thank you for subscribing. The refs are brutal towards the tempo. Way biased last night, like they had money on the game. Yeah. I'll totally concur with you on this, girl and her gong. The thing that annoys me is that I really do feel like it's for perceptions. It's like, we're an expansion team. We're the Canadian team. And in some ways, they don't want us to be coming too preeminent with a perception of who we are in the league. They liked the whole thing that happened to Valkyries last year. They liked the story. They liked the first year expansion team being a playoff team and being able to, because they like it because they say it all the time, right? They love promoting it that way. So in some ways, it's kind of like they want to keep that armor around that team in their reputation and the perception. And I feel like that's what was at hand last night. Once again, I'll say it. If we had won the game last night, we would have ended a 5-game winning streak for Golden State Valkyries. And that is a headline. That's a headline right there. That's something where WNBA news broadcasters will have to say the tempo ended the Valkyries win streak last night. And I wish we had. In some ways, we're still scrambling to figure things out as an expansion team. We're still getting our footing in the league. And in some ways, Sandy's got a depleted team with injuries that she can't do the full strength things to really say, before the game, ladies, we could end the winning streak for the Golden State Valkyries tonight. Let's get out there and kick their ass and do it. That will come. We're still so early and young. We need that pride. We need to build as a franchise. And at some point, we need to be thinking like Kyle Lowry and saying, fuck this. We're going to end Golden State's win streak tonight. And we're going to go out and do it. But there was definitely referee hand holding last night is what I would say. And you saw it too, as a Tempo fan. You saw it too, right? Very brutal. Very brutal. Angelica suffering because in suffering for Marina Mabry. That's right. It's like the perfect name right there. Yeah. Cream saying this. When does the Raptors Summer League start? Tomorrow. Honestly, it started yesterday, if you really want to get technical, because they showed up at the Wynn Ballroom and Coliseum in Las Vegas, and they had practice yesterday. Alan Graves, there's footage of these guys in the ballroom already, putting in the work. The Summer League team, at least. The vets are not there yet, but I'm sure they're going to be showing up and be running with them as of tomorrow. But yeah, tomorrow, the Raptors will be playing, I believe, at 9 p.m. Eastern against the Celtics Summer League team. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time on the television, Vegas Summer League. There's your answer, Kareem Thomas, right there. Ghosts is back. Good to see Ghosts of Gurulatis. Woof. Versus up. 6-0 since June 21st. Who are you talking about? 6-0 since June 1st. Oh, you're a Valkyries fan. That's what it is. Oh, you're from Valhalla? All right. Master's here. Go time. There you go. All right. Go time. Thank you for the subscription, Master. What is this? Go Tempo. There you go. Yeah, go Tempo. I'm all about that, Master. Great first comment. Seymour saying Tempo versus the world, Canada. That's right. Well, we got to do what we got to do. We got a great coach. Apparently, Fever fans want to trade for her. There's some sort of crazy fever dream trade. Not between Atlanta and Indiana, but a fever trade where some fan wants to trade Stephanie White for Sandy Brondello as a coach. I'm like, does this league work this way? No. I mean, Jason Kidd got traded once in the NBA. But yeah, I could see why somebody would want to trade Jason Kidd. But no, when would the Tempo ever even consider trading their awesome coach, champion coach, Sandy Brondello, just because a Fever fan wants that? That's messed up. Man, I'm finding that Indiana Fever fans are weird. and they are a little bit out of touch, and they're very self-centered with what they want for their team, and they don't give a shit about anywhere else. Why would we trade our coach to your coach? Why would we do this? Is this even a thing in the WMA? No. Trading coaches. Coaches have contracts, and they stay with the team. They don't get traded. It's so stupid. I was like, why did somebody make this? Why did they post this? Chloe saying this morning, everyone. Raining here in Scarborough today. Too bad could not get my sweat equity in the playground hoops this morning. Maybe later. Listen, nah, dog. All right, wait. Come on. Somebody's got something to say to you real quick. All right, hang on. Hello. Who's here? Oh, hi, guys. It's me, Irvin. I just want to talk to Kaloy real quick. Listen, Kaloy, you got to be a better role model for Santino and the boys. Because listen, when I was a kid and I was trying to become an NBA player, I was out there, rain, sleet, snow, sunshine. It doesn't matter how it is out there. You got to go out there and shoot hoops in the rain, my guy, because you won't get like me, Magic Johnson, if you don't go that way. Because I'll tell you, 365 days a year in the city of Chicago, I was out there shooting hoops like crazy, not stopping. And well, in some ways, that's how you got to do it. So you want to do it, you got to get out there in the rain. Sorry, guy. All right, thanks, Magic. All right, yeah, that's how he feels. It's like, look, no excuses, Kaloy. It's raining. Get out there and get wet and shoot the shot. That's what Magic did. He was out there when it's snowing. There were 3 feet of snow, and he's out there shooting hoops in the middle of the winter when he was a little kid. That's right. There you go. You Kaloy's laughing about this. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. He's also saying excited by Summer League action tomorrow. Looks like Evo and the team wants to develop Colin as a wing. Excited to see that. Yeah, there's some more news out of training camp for Summer League right now. Grange is reporting that Coach Evo has a plan for Colin Murray-Boyles that he's going to have the ball more in his hands in this Summer League. They want him to shoot way more threes. In fact, there's a quote saying that Coach Simovich wants Colin to have 6 or 7 turnovers because he's handling the ball so much and trying stuff with playmaking. This could be very curious. I think that Colin's only going to play 1 or 2 games in Summer League, but maybe not. I don't know. It sounds like Evo really wants to work on developing him through these Summer League games. So watch Murray-Boyles in Vegas because they're going to be trying some new experimental shit with him. He's probably going to be way more offensive, way more of the ball in his hand, and we're going to see him jack more threes too, is what I'm hearing out of Vegas so far, the early time coming in. That's right. Let's keep going with our tabs. Let's check in on our CBL stuff from last night. Let's see. Yesterday was Wednesday, right? Yeah. And it was Montreal versus Ottawa. It was a blowout. I watched the end of the game. It was 104-77. It was nasty. Ottawa Blackjacks smacking Montreal around bad in that battle of rivalries. And Javonte Smart was the dude. That's right. Javonte, 38 points. Wow. Pouring it in right there. 38 points in 31 minutes. Big time. We also had a double-double from Isaiah Moore with 12 points and 11 rebounds. Yeah, good effort by Ottawa. It wasn't even close. They blew that team out the water. At the beginning of target score time, they had like a 30-point lead, and everybody knew they were about to win. 104-77 was the final score. Montreal is reeling. You know, one of the things that's happening with the CBL right now is there's a talent drain because a lot of the players have left their teams to go play for national teams. Like Charles Bediako was playing for Team Canada. Also, we had a bunch of the players go to Summer League. There's a bunch of the players that just left their teams in the CBL to go join NBA teams in Vegas to play in the Summer League. Like I was looking at the list, and the Scarborough Shooting Stars themselves, the number 1 team in the league, have like 4 players that are in Summer League, and they are depleted. They don't have those players. Like Uat from Calgary, the Sudanese like forward that gets all these offensive rebounds. He's on the Knicks Summer League team right now. And who else is out there? Charles Bediako, Canadian center for Team Canada. He left. He went from Scarborough Shooting Stars to Team Canada and played in the Friday game against Puerto Rico. He didn't play in the game against Jamaica, because he's already gone to Vegas and he's playing for the Bulls on their summer league team. And who else? There's a bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of them from the whole league, across the league, that are going there. There's a few Vancouver Bandits. They're at summer league, like Mitchell Kopp. And who else is there? Yeah, there's just a ton. So the CBL is going through a little bit of talent drain because these guys are trying to go and get their chances in the NBA and the summer league opportunities right now. But yeah, Ottawa beat Montreal, and Justin Mazzulla, Joe Mazzulla's little brother, who coaches Blackjacks, was getting a little annoyed because they were taking too long to just close the game, because they were kind of just messing around because the game was over. There was no way, but he was like, just finish the game. Make the shot. We want to be done. Just finish the game. There is a couple of matches today. Edmonton is at Winnipeg. So that is at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. And then at Scotiabank Saddle Dome in Calgary, Vancouver will play Calgary at 8:30 p.m. So yeah, if you want to watch some Canadian Elite Basketball League action tonight on YouTube, you can see a couple games there. Winnipeg hosting Edmonton, and Calgary versus Vancouver tonight. Jarkel Joyner and the Vancouver Bandits. That's right. So there's your CBL check-in. Yeah, a lot of the players are all over the place right now. Like, they are gone to the States for summer league from the Canadian Elite Basketball League, or they're playing for a national team somewhere like Charles Bediako for Canada. So yeah, there's been a lot of that going on. Let's see. Yeah, Fiercey's rooting for her Ottawa Blackjacks. They had a big win last night. That wasn't even close. They embarrassed Montreal, to be honest. Honestly, they embarrassed them. They beat them so bad. But Quincy wasn't there. It's weird. Quincy Guerrier was not playing in the game. And Javon Freeman Liberty left the team a while back. I'm not even sure where he went. All right, let's do the Toronto Tempo Redditor of the day. And this is by That Belge. And they're all about Allemande and the Dimes. That's a Belgian fan. All right, this is their question. The choice of players in the press conference. After the loss to Golden State, Maria Conde and Marina Mabry were present for the presser. I'm kind of confused because I thought it was the highest scoring player plus one that made impact. So Mabry being there makes sense, but shouldn't it have been Izzy? If not being available, why not even Julie? Because she has a better stat line than Maria. This is no way hate Maria Conde post, by the way. I love to see her play, but must admit she is struggling with her three ball last few games. Yeah, I was wondering about this too. Isabel Harrison gets her career high in points. Why the fuck isn't she sitting next to Sandy in the press conference after the game to get questions about that, the bright spot in the game? Meanwhile, it's Marina and Maria sitting next to Sandy in the press conference. Yeah, Sandy was pissed. Marina was pissed. And, Sandy talked about turnovers and offensive fouls messing us up when we had our momentum. We were winning at the beginning of the fourth quarter by 2. We did all that work to come back and get them. At certain points in the second quarter, I was like, man, we've lost this game already. Niara's out. We have foul trouble. They're up by 10. Yeah, but no, we were able to scrap back in the third quarter and get the lead to go into the fourth quarter. That first part of the fourth quarter was a disaster, though. And Sandy keyed on that area as being the worst part of the game as far as letting things go. But also the referees were doing some weird stuff. They were doing traffic cop stuff to direct traffic. So, yeah, it's a tough game. Tough game. But, yeah, why is that Isabel wasn't in the press conference after the game last night, sitting next to Sandy to get her chance? And I have another question also that I would like to put on top of this. Why was it that the other team, the Valkyries, do separate conferences for their coach and their players? Why do we have the players going with Sandy? There's 3 of them up there, and maybe each one, like Sandy gets the bulk of the questions, and then there's one question for Maria, one question for Marina. Meanwhile, the Valkyries have their 2 players do an interview, and then the coach goes separately and does their own interview by themselves. I don't know. I don't know rhyme or reason to this press conference protocol and the decision making. Why wasn't Harrison sitting there answering questions about her career high? Why wasn't she sitting there? Seriously, I'm wondering that too. That Belge, great question for the Toronto Tempo Redditor of the Day. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. Why? Why wasn't that? Yeah, yeah. Big up Colloy. Yeah, there you go. Big up Colloy. Y'all, let's do the straight goods on Canadian goods. I love this product. This is something that I've been using for a couple years now. Born in Montreal as Cruda Sense uh, Kombucha. Rise became Rise in 2012 when we renamed ourselves in honor of our mission to elevate ourselves and those around us. While others might be satisfied with simply making products that are less bad, less sugar, fewer calories, we believe you deserve more. Rise isn't about what we leave out, it's about what we put in. Passion for nature, dedication to great taste, and natural and organic ingredients that work with your body, not against it. Yeah, this product's out of Montreal, and this is Rise Kombucha. And I've got this one particular is the lychee and jasmine flavor, and I've been drinking it already. Man, it's so good, man. Ooh, you hear that? Yeah, carbonation. Oh, that's good stuff. If you don't like kombucha, it's got a kick, and it's a little bit of yeah, this stuff is awesome. So, straight goods on Canadian goods. If you like kombucha or kind of drinks like this, Rise is a great company here in Canada out of Montreal. There you go. Straight goods on Canadian goods. That's right. That's right. UC saying, guess who's coming to Toronto from the 26th to 29th? I'm going to guess you. I'm going to guess you. Yeah. Fiercely saying, my favorite Rise kombucha is hibiscus and rose hips. So good. I have that one in the fridge. I have that one also in the fridge. That's the pink one. Yeah, I've got that one in the fridge also. I usually buy each one when I go to the grocery store. I'll get the ginger one. I like the pineapple kiwi one too, the green one. Yeah, I usually get there's 5 flavors, I think. And I usually get one of each when I go through the grocery store and get all my kombucha for the month. Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Fiercey's been drinking the Rise too. All right, let's see what else is in my tabs today. Let's see, is there breaking news on anything right now that's important? They had the Cheryl Reeve won the most WNBA games as a coach, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, this is the thing here about Michael Grange saying they're going to unleash CMB 2.0 and with 3-pointers too, and that Evo wants him to have turnovers or something like that. It's kind of crazy. Doug Smith went to his first tempo game last night. He enjoyed himself, and he said he's definitely going to come back. And he feels like, if they were healthy, they would do better. If they were healthy right now, that seems true. All right, let's see. We got to do our birthdays. Let's say a happy birthday to superfan Nat Bhatia. He's 75 years old today, guys. Yeah, 75, y'all. He came to Canada in 1984, and he's a true Canadian success story. He came here as a mechanical engineer with degrees from India, but he didn't really find work that way with it. And so he pivoted to becoming a car salesman. And well, the rest is history. The superfan is the first fan ever inducted in Naismith Hall of Fame as a fan. He's the first fan ever to be given an official team championship ring from the team ever in the history of the NBA. So yeah, Nat Bhatia is a shining beacon of Raptors fandom, and we support and love him. And happy birthday, happy 75th birthday to Superfan. Now go out and Raptorize your birthday. That's right. So yeah, it's the birthday of our Superfan Nat Bhatia. That's right. Pretty cool stuff there. 75. That's a big milestone birthday, right? That's a big milestone birthday for old Nat, right? Y'all check on your WNBA fantasy teams. Right now, I've got a lead over MK, the 2-time champion. Cool Cat and Fiercey are in a battle right now with Fiercey just ahead. Kaz is winning his matchup with Smoking Aces. Kareem is winning his match. And James is winning his match also. So check on your WNBA fantasy team on ESPN and compete to your best ability right there. Yeah, compete to your best ability. That's right. UC saying, I'm going to go to 3 concerts. I wish I paid more attention to the Tempo schedule. They're going to play on the 30th. Oh, so you could be here one more day and you could be here. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Greg saying, which Tempo game will you be attending, Fiercey? She's going to the game tomorrow night in Montreal at Bell Center to be one of the numbers that will break the record, hopefully, for attendance for a WNBA game. So yeah, she's over there. So she's going to see them tomorrow night when they play their first game in Montreal. So yeah, that's the game she's going to. Yeah. Yeah. UC saying Nav is 75. He looks like he's in his 50s or 40s. Wow. Oh my God. Happy birthday. Yeah. I mean, he's up there. He's up there. It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. Mr. Greg saying, funny story. Nav told me I was the one who made him famous because I called him in for his first interview. Laugh out loud. That's funny. That's interesting. Yeah, he's such an interesting person. You know, he's has such a great attendance record for the Raptors. There's very few games he's missed that the Raptors have played. He comes to all these Team Canada things. He was at the Jamaica game the other night when I was there. I saw him sitting down at the end of the court. He's not making it to all the tempo games, though. In some ways, he's not trying to do the same thing that he's done for the NBA franchise here with the WNBA franchise because he has missed a lot of tempo games. I've noticed that. So you know, he can't be everywhere, and it's got to be busy and expensive to have all these tickets and be at all these games all the time. But his record for going to Raptors games is admirable. Let's just put it that way. It's amazing how many games he's gone to over 30 years of Raptors. It's kind of crazy. That's cool, Mr. Greg. That's cool. Yeah, Nab seems like a good guy. He seems like a really good guy. Some ways I'd say he's too nice. We should have never had DR DeRozan that close to the court. He's too nice. All right, let's see. Fiercey's saying, yeah, I'm going tomorrow. That's right. She's going tomorrow. That's right. Yeah. Seymour saying, say word, Mr. Greg. That's solid. Yeah, you know, he knows some people. He's an insider. He was working in the industry in broadcasting and around Canadian sports. So yeah, he knows some people. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Enjoy yourself, Fiercey. And dunk from Mr. Greg. All right, we can do that. Seymour. Seymour's calling for the alley-oop. And he's going to pass the lob to Mr. Greg, and Greg's going to throw it down. All right, let's see. Where is he on this chart? He's down here. Yeah. All right. You got the Vince Carter 15 at this point, Mr. Greg. 15. Or should I say Amir Johnson 15? How about that? Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Greg saying Nav has a daughter in her 30s. That is an actress. Yeah. He has one child, and it's his daughter, and she's an actress. Yeah. Yeah. And his wife is such a love of his life. He's so he speaks so highly of his wife, cherishes her so much. Yeah, Nab's just a good dude. He's a good dude. He's definitely a mover and a shaker in the scene of Toronto. Definitely. I feel like at the Tempo games, it's Sam McDaddy who's trying to be like the every game guy because he's been at every Tempo game and he's been sitting in the same seats every time. The property real estate guy. I think he's trying to do what Nab does with the Tempo. Nab does with the Raptors with the Tempo. I think that's what he's doing. Yeah. Yeah. You'll take Carter over Amir. I give the option of Garboza, Johnson, or Carter for 15. It's your choice. KT's saying this. Didn't you find it weird that everyone around DR DeRozan never said anything? If that was an adult, they'd probably be escorted out or at least get a few warnings. That scream is giving me PTSD. They did say things. I don't know why you think they didn't. There were fans there next to them that did say things to them and did say, be quiet, be quiet. They were saying stuff. Oh, yeah. At a certain point, DR's mother had to dirty look everybody around there and say, she's just a child. Y'all lay off. Let her do what this is. I mean, they did. There were fans that were sitting near there that were saying something to her as she was actively screaming during that play-in game against Chicago, against her dad. Yeah. That game, once again, I look at that play-in game where we lost, the last game Nick Nurse coached for the Raptors, as a payback, in some ways a revenge for the DeRozan family for harm done from the trade with Kawhi. In some ways, that was the pain of the father coming out through the daughter at courtside from seeing daddy depressed and sad and hurt by Toronto trading him to San Antonio. That's what that was. In some ways, that was payback. And in some ways, I said after that happened, I was like, all right, DeMar, are we more even now? We did you wrong. We traded you for Kawhi, and then we went and won a championship, and you had to go through all kinds of feelings. And, you know, you went through a depression, and you came out better for it and stronger for it. And in fact, you become out a role model for other people on how to do it. And, you know, your daughter came and you guys got revenge. You kicked us out. You made us lose our whole season for 1 year. In fact, it dismantled our team. Our coach left shortly after that in a convoluted way to go play to be coach for Philadelphia. And things changed after that. Fred Van Vliet never played for us again after that either. So I see it as like a little bit of evening up in the karmic way of things with the DeRozan family. And in some ways, I don't get mad about it. I don't get upset about it. It is what it is. It happened the way it happened. And it's a lesson. It's a lesson. You know, it's a lesson. Mr. Greg saying Sam is a nice guy, but I don't know Sam as well as I know Nav. He's more of a newer guy, been around on the scene, right? You see the commercials, you see the billboards, property stuff. He's the one who's showing Tempo their new places. Like he showed Marina Mabry around in her video apartments and condos for her when she first got to Toronto. So I think that's part of his role. Maybe it's like Nav takes care of the cars for basketball players that come to Toronto, and Sam takes care of accommodations. Like, this is where you can live. Oh, I've got a great condo down here by the lake, Marina. Come on down with your dad and we'll go show it to you. You can see the airport from there. It's so nice. Oh, that sounds lovely. Thank you. You know, I think that's what it is with Sam, is that he's kind of like helping the Tempo and the Raptors with accommodations if they need a place to live, you know, coming here. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Chloe's saying this, been seeing that Sam McDaddy ad for more than 20 years now. We wanted to name our band Sam McDaddy before because we found it so funny. Okay, I mean I'm talking about Nab being around like for 30 years. I don't know when Sam showed up, maybe 20 years ago. I don't know. Yeah, but he hasn't been so prominent in Raptors or basketball culture. Maybe you've seen the ads, but you know, you wouldn't notice him at the games until more recently. He's definitely becoming more prominent in the eye of basketball circles. You know, there's some regular fans that sit near courtside that I recognize, I see all the time, and I'm like, "Whoa, who's that guy? What is that dude's deal?" You know, some of them sit with Sam or Nav. You know, there's that white guy with the white beard who was at all the finals games, and like he's been sitting around Nav Bhatia for a long, long time. I have no idea who that guy is, but he's always there. You know, there's an old dude who sits near the Raptors bench, like right next to where the coaches sit, and he's always there. And sometimes he has a newspaper, and he's a big basketball fan. I can tell because he gets really into the games. Yeah, I wonder about some of those notorious fans that you see at sidelines right up next to the court. People like the Hawaiian shirt guy for the Tempo, you know, Lily Singh, you know, Sam McDaddy. You know, there's some prominent fans you start to see around the court, and you're like, oh, they're always there. They're always there, you know? Let's see. Uh, Mr. Greg saying this. My mother loved DeRozan, but she also got to love Kawhi. And I'm glad she got to see the Raptors win before she passed away. That's beautiful, man. So your mom was a Raptors fan, huh? That's awesome, man. And I'm so glad she got to see them win also. You know, that's a big deal, man. You know, getting that championship, we shouldn't take it for granted. That was such a huge, important thing. And I want to get another one. I really do. And even if Masai's not technically here for this one, you know, in some ways it'll be going for Masai too, because he said it. He's like, this city will win whether I'm here or not. And well, let's go for it this year. Let's go for it this year. That's a beautiful story, Mr. Greg. That's a beautiful story. Smooth saying Sam McDaddy looks like the Joker. He's had so much work on his face. Yeah, I mean, some people are into that kind of stuff. They get a little more egocentric, or like they're worried about their looks and aging. They'll do the facelift, the chin tuck, all that kind of shit. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah, Kareem saying this. Wait, was your guy's stance on JV? Isn't he pretty much the same situation as DeMar? No. No, not to me. He fits a need we have. DeMar doesn't. Jonas fits a need we have. If Bobby gets Jonas Valanciunas in the next couple of days, I'll be overjoyed. I totally approve of getting Valanciunas. We need a center, of course. The thing I said earlier, KT, was we don't have a whole lot of money to offer him. It's not realistic in the fact that maybe Jonas to say that's not enough for me to come to Toronto. That's the biggest thing I see. Otherwise, I'm a total green light if Valanciunas returns to our team because he is what we need. We need a center. We need a backup big. And why not a guy who's already familiar with the city, that loves the city, has roots in the city, has a wife that loves the city. And in some ways, it's like, yeah, we're coming home. We were in Toronto at the beginning of his career, and we're going to come back for the last end, and we'll ring chase with Kawhi and Jakob. And that's the glorious thing. He's worked with Jakob. Jakob was a rookie with Jonas as his vet, as the backup center to him. And now it's flipped. Jakob is the starter, and Jonas will be the backup to his Padawan, his apprentice from before. Plus, Jonas got traded halfway through our championship year for Marc Gasol, and he just missed out on that ring. He, just as much as DeMar and CJ Miles and DeLon Wright, those guys in Jakob Poeltl, they have feelings of missing out on that championship. So no, this one makes complete sense if it can happen. I just worry that the money doesn't line up correctly for Poeltl to want to, for Valanciunas to want to do it. So I would absolutely love this move. Homecoming, big Lithuanian, big science. He could be very helpful for our team as the backup big. So I fully recommend and endorse this one. Yeah, I do. I really, really do. Yeah, that's my official stance on it, Kareem, right there. It's different. DeMar's not the skill set or the person we need. Jonas is. Jonas is. So I'm all about that. Yeah. Yeah, Smooth saying like doll face scary shit. Okay, let's be nice. It's the eyebrows. They're kind of Vulcan. Let's not get it twisted. You put a Star Trek shirt on Sam McDaddy, and he's ready to be beamed up. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Dun 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 dun. Space, the final frontier. Maybe like Sam McDaddy is like a cross between Leonard Nimoy and DeForest Kelly. Yeah, you see that a little bit? I don't know. Maybe he's a bad Vulcan. Like maybe he's a Vulcan that comes onto the Enterprise and he's trying to kill Spock or something like that. I'll get you, Spock. You hurt me so long ago, and I'm going to get you now. That is illogical, Sam McDaddy. Go back to Toronto and sell houses. Beam him down, Scotty. Oh. Oh, stop, Lex. We love you, Sam. You're awesome. We're making you a legend, bro. That's what we're doing right here. Fiercely saying, oh, that's him. I was wondering who he was because I kept seeing him on TV. Yeah, he is shamelessly self-promoting himself all over the place. And that's good for business. People see it. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I got to get a place, Sam McDaddy. No, call Amari Parsons. Call Amari Parsons in Niagara region. Mr. Greg saying, Smitty was at games for years and used to sit under the opposing basket for at least 25 years. Perhaps he has passed away. Smitty? Is that the guy with the beard that I'm talking about? The beard? He's not old. He's middle-aged, but he wears like his hair is kind of wavy and he's got a gray beard and he always sits underneath the basket these days opposite Nab Bhatia. Now Bhatia is at his end with his towel at the visiting bench end. And the guy I'm talking about has been sitting at the Raptors end the last year. He's not dead because he was at games this year. And I've seen him at Tempo games this summer too. The fan I'm talking about he kind of pals around. Like, I guess this is like the Raptors fan brat pack. Like these are just rich dudes that go and sit at courtside and they all kind of hang around and pal around. Nab Bhatia, Sam McDaddy, and the white beard guy, the white dude that is always around them too. Yeah, I don't know. Is his name Smitty? I don't know if that's his name. KT saying, did JV get a ring or did anyone get ring that was traded that year? No, he didn't get a ring. And I don't agree with that. I think the JV should have gotten a ring for a championship year. I say, why not put more championship rings for the Raptors in circulation if you can? But no, they were sticklers. And they said, no, you weren't on the team when we went there, even though you played half the season for us. And you got traded for Marc Gasol. I don't know. Jonas could have some motivation to come back here. and try and win a ring with Scotty and Kawhi. He could. He could. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. UC saying if JV comes back, then I'm gonna get his jersey while attending a game next season. I guarantee. That's awesome. I like that. I like that. All right, we're getting close to our 2 hours, so we'll go ahead and start getting close. Let's see if y'all can get this in the next 6 minutes because I don't want to go over 2 hours. Okay, I want a different card. That one we can do another time, but that one's not as fun. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, we'll do this one. All right, guys, here's the classic card of the day. Please, full name answers. If you put one half of the name, you can get seagulled, meaning somebody's going to come in there and steal it from you. That's right. Mr. Greg saying my late uncle was in the service with James Doohan. That's really cool. Now, Scotty, he's a Canadian legend. That man is a war hero, and he is a really impressive person beyond his Hollywood career. Yeah, that's really cool. Your late uncle was in service with him? Yeah, I've heard about the amazing stories about Mr. Scott and his military service. I've heard about this stuff. All right, here we go. Here we go. Full name answer, please. It's the Nets player. And that looks like Bernard King is trying to guard him right there. He lost a finger in the service? Your uncle? That's crazy. Or no, it was James Doohan did, I think, too. Yeah. All right. Who is that, guys? I'll give you a clue on the guess. Tate George. Tate George was shorter than this player and a bit more light-skinned, but this is not Tate George. Good guess, though. This guy is related to a very famous icon in NBA history, but he's not as good as him for sure. Yeah. Yeah, James Doohan lost his finger. Yeah. This guy, his famous family member was an ABA legend along with an NBA legend. So yeah, if you can figure it out from that. Derek Gervin, boom goes the dynamite. That is it right there. This is Iceman Gervin's relative, Derek Gervin. And Slug Deasy is still the king of the classic card. So I'm going to give you 200 points for this one, Slug, because this one's hard. This one's hard. Derek Gervin. Does anybody remember Derek Gervin? No, I bet you don't. That's right. But yeah, his brother is George Gervin. That's right. He was his brother. It's just George Gervin's brother, Derek. 200 points to Slug Deasy. The king of the classic card is back on top. Good to see that. I like that. Derek Gervin, Slug Deasy. Boom goes the dynamite. 200 points on that. Added to your trivia score. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying real quick. We'll wrap it up. We still got 3 minutes. Let's see. UC saying Kyle asked Valanciunas for his ring size, but the organization decided not to give him one. We need to heal that wound. I don't agree with that. I've heard other franchises like the Lakers in the bubble when they won in 2020, they gave rings to everybody who played on their team all year, even guys they cut. And I don't understand. It's up to the team is what I heard, because I remember this because I looked at it the next year and I was like, why the hell are the Lakers giving rings to everybody who played for them, even the guys they traded? And apparently I looked it up and it says it's up to the team to decide who they want to give rings to and how they want to do it. The Lakers were like, we'll just give everybody a ring. There's some players that got traded. We didn't do that. And in some ways, yeah, the case for Jonas or CJ Miles or DeLon Wright to get championship rings. I mean, if you ask CJ Miles, he may be like, no, I don't deserve that ring, man. I wasn't on that team when they won. But you were on the team earlier in the season that built up to it. Yeah, but it just doesn't feel right, Raptors Freak. I don't think I deserve a ring. I'm sorry. Man, but CJ, I'm trying to help you out here. Come on now. it's like, I could get that. CJ had such a beautiful tribute to Kyle for his retirement. Oh my gosh. Some of this stuff that's been coming out the last couple of days and the tributes to Kyle Lowry have just been awesome. There's been such an outpouring of love. And he is already there at the America's golf tournament with Steph Curry and Vince Carter and Del Curry. And they're all participating in this crazy golf tournament this weekend. And Steph won it once, and Steph's bragging. He's like, I'm going to win this tournament again. And it's like, Kyle Lowry's coming to beat your ass, Steph Curry, just like he did in 2019. He's coming to get you. That's right. Fiercey's saying, when is the next Team Canada game? Any left? They're going to play 2 games in Montreal in August. So next month, Fiercey, look into it. You might want to go. You might want to try and go see SGA and them. They're going to play 2 games in Montreal. So there are a couple of qualifiers still coming up. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to be coming to Montreal next month. Look it up. You can find it. Let me see. Let me see. Team Canada Montreal in August. Let me see. I'll find it out for you guys. Come on now. I'll do that. Team Canada basketball Montreal August. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, that's not right. Okay, here it is. Okay, there's World Cup qualifiers on August the 31st. Okay. August, it's in Quebec City, actually. That's even better, eh? Isn't that for you, Fiercey? It's in Quebec City on August the 31st. Okay, so wait, hang on. Let me write this right because I put this in wrong. Okay. The Canadian senior men's national team will play a FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifier in Quebec City on August the 31st at the Videotron Center. And they're also going to be playing. Is that the only time? They're only playing 1 game? I thought they were going to play 2 there. I guess they're only playing that 1 game on the 31st. Tickets are expensive. They start at $66 apparently. But yeah, they'll be in Quebec City on August the 31st. And I'm not sure which team they're playing. They're going to be playing one of the America's teams. I think it's like Panama or something like that. I think that they're playing Panama. Hang on here. This one might be better here. This is the Team Canada thing. Yeah, they don't have exactly who they're going to play because they have to decide it from how things are going in the things. So they played the 2 games in Hamilton, and then they'll play the 31st there. So, yeah, that's it. That's the answer right there. So Quebec City, August the 31st. Yeah. I think that's better, isn't it? Quebec City? Isn't that better for you guys? Yeah. Let's see. Mr. Greg saying off topic, but Mike Ilitch gave Stanley Cup rings to every living member of the Red Wings since they didn't get Stanley Cup rings in the 50s. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. Quebec, too far. You're in Gatineau, across from Ottawa. Okay. So that's too far. Ah, I see. Yeah. That's a beautiful 18,000 seat arena, the Videotron Arena. Interesting. All right. Well, there you go. We're going to finish up right now. We're at just over 2 hours. Thank you for watching the Raptor Freak / Tempo Freak stream. Tomorrow, I'll have a preview for the Tempos game against Dallas in Montreal, and also for the Summer League game for the Raptors in Vegas against the Celtics. So we got double duty preview tomorrow and getting stuff set up for that. I'll go over real quick my stars of the game and the loss to the Valkyries. 8 versus 5 game for the referees helping out Golden State. Isabel Harrison getting her career high as my #1 star. Julie Alamon, 2nd star, and Kia Nurse is my 3rd star in the game last night. 83-75, 8-point loss for the Tempo to the Valkyries, and the refs were absolutely hand-holding them to help them get to that victory. All right, yeah, it didn't take me watching it from home and Mr. Greg from watching it in the arena to understand exactly the storyline that was written last night to help Golden State beat Toronto no matter what. Yeah, it was bullshit. And once again, I'm going to say I'm not impressed with y'all Valkyries. Y'all are being propped up, and I don't have respect for y'all. And when we play y'all in Golden State, I hope we beat you in one of those games. It's very likely they'll try and write the storylines again when we face them later. All right, take care, Mr. Greg. Great stream. Thank you, UC. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go, Tempo. Let's go, Summer League Raptors. Yeah, put in that work at the Wynn Ballroom and Coliseum. That's right. Take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Raptors Freak out. Let's go, Tempo.